So here we are. Aimee, I think that what we're going to do is just hand it over to you and let you maybe field some questions and show us some cool stuff.
Sure, absolutely. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, cool. So, what I intended for this is I'd love to hear a little bit about what you have, like any of you, you can raise your hand, it kind of just popcorn style here, about what you have going on in your body, either in general or as you're sitting here right now. So maybe let's all just do a little self-sensing to kind of check in, right? Even as I was talking about some of the things that I talked about today, maybe you already became a little bit more aware of your body and aware of where you hold tension in your body. Kind of like as I'm mentioning chronic tension, you're like, oh yeah, I have that over there. My back is talking to me, or my shoulder, or my neck, right? So we'll do a moment to self-sense for you guys to kind of get some feedback from your body about what's been going on as you've been sitting here. Okay, so you can close your eyes if that helps you sense in. And as you sense in here, feel the weight of your hips on the surface that you're sitting on. Notice whether your feet are touching the floor or what's the position of your legs. Maybe your legs are crossed. You could uncross them and feel your feet against the floor, right? And just notice if it feels like you're heavier to one side of your pelvis. You could notice that you feel a little bit leaned to either the right or the left, right? And we're not trying to fix anything. We're just going to notice what is. And then bring your awareness up through your belly and your back and just notice the position of your pelvis. Notice if it feels like your back is very arched right now, or maybe it feels like your back is kind of rounded. And then feeling up into your shoulders and your chest. Do you notice any holding in your shoulders or your chest? Does it feel like your shoulders are stacked right on top of your hips, or are they a little bit forward from your hips? Is there any sensation between your shoulder blades that you sense or notice right now? And then bringing your awareness up into your neck, the back of your neck, the base of your skull, and notice any sensations there. Maybe even getting in touch with the quality of this space. How much feedback can you get from the back of your head and from the base of your skull? Sense around into your mouth, your jaw, your tongue, and just notice if there's any residual tensions that you can feel in your face and around your eyes, right? And then feeling down your arms into your hands and your fingers. Get some feedback from your hands and your fingers. Is one hand somehow more accessible than the other or tighter than the other? Maybe they're the same. And then take a breath in and just notice how it feels to breathe. So take a deep breath and notice how does the air come in and how does the air move out? And how much effort do you feel in breathing? Does it take a lot to take a deep breath, or does it feel easy? Where do you feel that effort taking place as you breathe in? And then just getting kind of a general sense. There's your physical experience, and then there's whatever thoughts or feelings might be moving through you at this moment. Just getting a picture of what it's like to be. Good. And then opening your eyes. And so we just took that moment. We just took a few moments for you to sense inward and get a feel for what muscles are in contraction in your body that are pulling on things a bit, that are maybe pulling you forward or clenching something, right? A show of hands of who felt like there was a tense place in their body that they came in touch with, right? Yeah. And so now I open it up to you guys to share a little bit with me about the tension that you're holding, right? And I can do a couple of things with that information. I can guide you in a movement that we can all try to help address that discomfort and do a little one-on-one kind of coaching with you here. And then I can also answer any questions or help you inquire as to what this tension might mean for you, right? What side of your body it's on, how it feels, right? And do a little exploration of what what your body or what your system might be trying to tell you through this discomfort that you're having, right? So who has some curiosity today? Molly.
I have to pop off in a couple minutes to get on another call. I just wanted to do a shout out and say I've been in Amy's 6-month program for about 3 months now, and it is changing my life in so many ways that I did not anticipate. And my relationship to my body is getting so much more I don't know, clear communication is what I want to say. Like I can hear and be with what my body is telling me. And I have so many tools to use if pain arises or if something is hard to process. And so I just wanted to do a shout out that I didn't know how much I would benefit from working with you, Aimee, and I'm very, very grateful.
Thank you, Molly. I really appreciate that. It's been an absolute honor to work with you and get to be present to your magic and the intelligence that you bring into this somatic work as well.
Thank you. And thanks for the show. I'm sorry I have to pop off early.
Bye, Molly.
Bye, David.
Cool. Anybody else? Stephanie, go ahead.
Just so much. Like the before you mentioned feelings, the feelings came, because I was sensing in. I had God, I'm turning so red. Um, I had a back injury within the last year, and my hips and my back have been just so tense and so tight and so painful, like all the time. And then as I was going up through my back to my neck, I'm noticing like pulling in my like this is a constant problem too because of I think it's because of my desk and because the sit and the stress that I experience while I'm working. But I mean, I really need to change the physical environment of my desk.
Yes. So as you sense into that place in your hips and back, right, that's been pulling, and you also gestured to your left shoulder, the top of your left shoulder, right? Does it feel like your back is in an arch right now as you're sitting here, or does your back feel rounded?
I think I've noticed recently that I've just come to the awareness that my hips are sitting kind of forward with my tailbone tucked under. And so
Gotcha.
that's probably been me protecting the injury.
Yes, yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, the way that you're describing the situation with your desk is totally valid, and there can be environmental reasons why we get stuck in certain positions and that reinforce those uncomfortable positions. I'm also thinking that you work as a photographer. I know that you do that, and that can be carrying a lot of equipment, that can be carrying a heavy camera, and there may be a habitual way that you carry things, right?
It's more that there's a particular tool that I use in Photoshop.
Um,
It's the editing.
Gotcha. Yes, yes, and the editing of the photos. So then at the same time, there's the way that your body has been adapting to this environment. And so what I'm kind of point to here and what we can explore is that your desk and the things that you're doing might not have to change as much as you think they do if your muscular system changed. If your body became more relaxed and not holding the tension patterns that it's been accumulating, your desk might not be a problem at all once you had shifted your, in a way, like your physical experience, right? Does that make sense? And then, of course, in the interim, if you were doing this practice with me, you would definitely still make little shifts and environmental changes to support not having to sit at that desk so many hours, maybe doing some other kinds of things in the interim as you're reteaching your body how to hold itself differently. Are you open to trying some movements right now with us?
Yes, but I want to bring up a
Yes.
belief heard first,
Okay. Yes.
which is that all of this that I'm feeling is insurmountable.
Mm,
And that's
yeah.
true. I don't have to believe that.
Okay, but you just got in touch with a feeling like it's insurmountable. And I'm also the image that comes to mind is like if we told you that you had to climb a mountain today and you have all this pain in your hips and you're like, I can't do that, right? Like it's too big,
Do that.
right? So yeah, I get that. I get that you can identify that there's a belief that says this is too big for me to handle, right? And what I have to say to that is that that might be true, but the truth is that we don't do big things alone.
Right.
Yes. And that's I didn't come out of my tension and pain just laying on my floor doing movements by myself from YouTube videos. I came out of my pain with mentorship and the helping of others the fantastic guidance of skilled, people who had gone through the process that I'd gone through, right? That's where we really grow as human beings, is through community and mentorship, and not having to climb that mountain alone. And get you like a couple of Sherpas. Cool. Okay. Thank you for that. So, okay, sitting here, we're going to try this first movement, and I want you to do this very gently so all of you can kind of sit a little more evenly on your chair. And you're going to inhale. And as you inhale, you're going to be arching your back a little bit, which is going to cause your body to rise up. And then you're going to really, really slowly come out of that arch. And at the end of the movement, when you're no longer holding that arch, you're going to see if you can let your body settle for a moment and relax. Now, as you're doing this, if you find that while you're going through the movement, it causes an increase in discomfort or even some pain somewhere in your body, the next time that you do the movement, you want to do it smaller and more gently to avoid that discomfort, right? We're asking your nervous system to let go. And when we experience pain, our bodies clench up and they hold on and they brace themselves for the pain. So we want to try to do this without any pain, okay? So when you're ready here, Stephanie, you're going to inhale, and gently, you're going to arch your back, which will cause your body to rise up a little bit. And then very, very slowly, as slow as you can, come out of that arch. Yeah, so you've risen up, and now you're going to very slowly let that go. It's very slowly, and it might not be totally smooth as you're letting it go, but you're going to find, where is the end of this movement? Where is it that I'm not holding myself up like that anymore? And when you find the end of the movement, just relax there for a moment as much as you can. Good. Let me know when you're finished with that.
Okay.
Yeah. How did that feel?
Good.
Yeah. We'll try it again. And this time I want you to notice if there's a subtle action in your shoulders. Like as you arch your back, maybe your shoulders want to do something. They might want to go up. They might want to go back. They might want to come forward. Just see if your shoulders are doing a little micro movement as you arch your back, and sort of go with them. Go, let them do that movement. Okay. So as you inhale, you're going to arch your back. And as you do, notice what your shoulders seem to want to do with this action. And let your shoulders do that thing. Let them come along. And then very slowly let go of that. Slowly release the arch of your back. And as you do, just let your shoulders also soften out of whatever they did, going nice and slow, taking your time. Again, looking, where is the end of this movement? Where is it that I'm no longer doing that thing that I just initiated? And when you find that end point, just see how much you can relax.
Very different from the last time.
Oh yeah? How was it different?
I noticed the part of the weight of my arms, because I've got my hands on my thighs. So part of the weight of my arms is, I was just noticing that on my thighs. And then just I was totally unaware of my shoulders while I was thinking about the arching my back.
Mm.
And then the relaxing, the unarching felt totally different.
Mm. Yeah, let's try it a third time. 3 is usually a good minimum number for these movements, right? You don't want to do them over and over again because it can kind of get habituated, right? And we're trying to reprogram things. So we just do a few really good ones, right? So when you're ready, you're going to try that again. You're going to inhale and you're going to arch your back, and you're going to let your shoulders do what they want to do as you arch your back. Maybe they want to rise up. Maybe they want to draw back too. Slowly, slowly come out of that arch, taking your time. Coming all the way out. Find the end of the movement where your body can settle and relax. Good. How did it feel that third time?
A little more divided, like I didn't have enough attention for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you kind of noticed that it was hard to focus on, all of it all together, right? And that's probably because there's certain areas that have been drawing your attention more strongly, right? Those pain places, and then there's places that you haven't really been attending to. And so it's kind of bringing all that back into your awareness right now. Yeah. Let's do one little thing here for your shoulder. Oh, say that again.
Well, I could do it like 5 times instead of 3, I think.
Yeah, yeah. You feel like your body's like, more, please. Yes. Cool. Well, we can do it again, but I also want to just explore this a little bit for everybody here, because I'm assuming people often carry their tension here, right? In their shoulders, right? So go ahead and turn your head a little bit to the right. And you're going to keep your head turned to the right here. And now you're going to gently shrug your left shoulder up a little bit. And as you do that, tilt your head back so that you're shortening that muscle that you pointed to that was tight. Yes. And then slowly let your shoulder come down and slowly let your chin come back to level, and just keep going nice and slow, and be curious about how far down your shoulder goes until your shoulder just hangs and relaxes, and let's go. That feel okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're smiling. It looks like your body liked that one too. Yes. So go ahead, let's try it again. So everybody, you can turn your head to the right again. Shrug your left shoulder as you tilt your head back. Yeah, so you're shortening the distance between the back of your neck and shoulder. It can be a small movement, and then very slowly let that go. Very, very slowly bring your chin back to level and slowly let your shoulder descend with gravity, taking your time, letting your shoulder come all the way down, and find the end of the movement and rest. Good. How does your left shoulder feel after those 2 movements?
Pretty different.
Yeah. How would you describe the difference?
I don't know. There's a little more space there.
Yeah. There's a little more space. That makes sense, because if the muscle fibers are in contraction, they're drawing all of that space together. They're keeping it closed. And then we just got your brain to loosen and lengthen those spaces. And now there's more space, right? And that's pretty amazing just in 2 movements. I'd say your nervous system is really excited about this. The idea of letting this stuff relax. Some people, their bodies don't respond as quickly, but you responded very well to this. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm going to let someone else jump in and share a little bit about what they have going on, and maybe even provide some feedback about how those movements were for them. Is anyone else? Dennis, you had your hand up earlier.
Yeah, in that movement we just did, I got pain in my right shoulder. I have tension in my left shoulder, under the shoulder blade, and that's still there.
Yes. So this is why it's all very individual. The muscle patterns that Stephanie has that are in contraction are different than the ones that you have. And so there's going to be different movements that get you relief, right? So you mentioned that you have tension underneath your left shoulder blade.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what about, you said your right side, you got some discomfort with that movement. Where did you get that pain or discomfort? In the top of your
In my
shoulder?
the top of the right shoulder, yeah.
Okay. So let's try this. Go ahead and have your hands on your lap. Okay. And you're going to try just very gently sliding your elbows back a little bit so that your shoulder blades draw together a little bit behind you. And then very slowly let that go. Let your shoulder blades come away. And just see how much you can let that go. It's a small movement. And let me know when you've let that go and you've relaxed it as much as you can.
Yeah, that's made me aware of tension across the top of both shoulders.
Yes. So now let's try that movement with a little shoulder shrug. So they're kind of going together now. So you're going to draw your elbows back so your shoulder blades come together, and you're going to lift your shoulders up. Your head might even come forward a little bit. Yeah. And then slowly let that go. Let your shoulders soften down. Let your shoulder blades come away. And how did that feel?
That was more comfortable.
Yes. Yes. So there's a whole pattern here that your body is running that we can get in touch with by getting those clues about where you're feeling discomfort or you're feeling something kind of irritated by the movement. It's because
Mm,
that part of your shoulder wants to do some other pattern than what we're doing, right? So I
mm,
think you automatically wanted to do that again. So let's try it again, and everybody can try this one. It's a really good one. You're going to draw your elbows back and draw your shoulders up. Yeah. And then slowly let that go. Let your shoulders come down and away from each other. And as much as you can, just let that go.
mhm.
How did it feel that time?
Good. Yeah, it was a movement my shoulders wanted to do.
Yes, that's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. So, in this modality, we always work with what's easy and comfortable because that is when you're in your pattern. You know you're in your pattern when it's easy and comfortable, and you know you're going outside your pattern when it's uncomfortable or even painful, right? So
Mm,
we work with the pattern to undo it. It's how it works. If we pull against something, it's just going to get tighter.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so let's try this again and let's see if we can bring your head into this. So your head was already doing something. Oh, Julie, it was great to see you. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Right? So when we do this movement now, this third time, your head might want to do something. There's some options. I'll give you a few ideas. You could be tilting your chin up. You could be tilting your chin down. You could be pushing your head forward. You could be tilting your head back. There could be a little like twisting kind of movement that your head wants to do. So you're just going to ask, what is my head wanting to do when my shoulders are doing what they're doing? How's that sound?
Fine.
All right. So we'll try it. You're going to gently draw your shoulders back and lift your shoulders up and ask, what does my head want to do here? Yeah. Uh-huh. And then slowly let that go. Slowly let your shoulders come down. Slowly let your shoulder blades come away from each other and let your head settle back into its resting position. How did that feel?
I was aware of a lot more tension in my shoulders coming this way.
Yes. So you got in touch with muscles that were holding that you didn't realize were holding.
Mm, yeah.
Yes. Cool. And then, how do you feel after these movements that we just did? Does it feel the same as it usually does, or is there a difference in what you notice about your neck and shoulders?
There's some parts are more relaxed and some parts are very tense.
Yes. So when we relax certain muscles, then we feel the tension of things that haven't relaxed as much.
Mm, mm,
So, like we were doing a session together, right, over Zoom, I would have you do a bunch of different releases down the right side of your body or whatever the tighter side of your body is. And then you'd roll onto your back and you'd lay maybe on your bed or something. And you'd notice now the tension on the left side of your body more
mm,
because
mm.
of the contrast of the relaxed muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Any questions, or would you like to explore any of the other things that might be part of this tension pattern that you carry?
I've got a question about a condition my wife has, if I
Mm.
may. She's
Yes.
got something called polymyalgia rheumatica.
Mm.
I just wondered if this is a condition you've worked with.
I have not worked with that condition specifically. Could you describe a little bit about what some of the effects are, like what she experiences?
But she gets pain in her shoulders and in her back, and um, without it, there isn't anything that brings it on. She just wakes up with it.
Yes. So this modality could provide a lot of relief for her based on just what you're telling me. And I mean, it's generally helpful to like there are very few contraindications. And I've worked with people who are recovering from stroke or who have neural damage and things like that. I've worked with people who have different kinds of connective tissue disorders, dystonia, where the musculature is kind of frozen. So based on what you're describing, where she has this kind of inexplicable pain that doesn't have a particular trigger, it sounds like it could be neuromuscular, and this would provide some relief for sure. Yeah, well, at least some level of it. I can't say that it would make it go away completely, but some relief.
Thank you.
Yeah. Katie.
Yeah, I was wondering, so I've been having like sciatic nerve um pain, and I was wondering if that's not muscular. Does this modality work with stuff that's not muscular?
So it is muscular in the sense that the reason that the nerves are being impinged upon is because of a tight muscle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so spinal misalignment, same thing. What's pulling the bone out of alignment? It's muscles in some level of contraction in a specific pattern that cause the herniation of the disc. It's the compression of our musculature against our structure, so against the nerves, right? Sciatic nerves is definitely going to be muscles down your back and through your glutes and the rotators of your hips. And there's a specific muscle reflex, a reflexive pattern of muscles that is generally responsible for most sciatic pain discomfort. And it's like I said, the rotators of your hips being in maintaining contractions, gluteal muscles maintaining contractions like your piriformis. And like a physical therapist might have you do a bunch of stretching or a bunch of different exercises to, work out or tighten or loosen your piriformis through that. But we can also just release the back of your body and rebalance the musculature on the front. And that pain, I had sciatic pain as well. It would go away with regular practice of this.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. And I'm also happy to show you a couple of things, even just sitting here, that might start changing your glute muscles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be great.
Okay, so everybody, if your feet aren't on the floor, go ahead and have your feet on the floor. Okay, and this is just one layer that I'm going to show you. The other layer is working, like I said, with your paravertebrals and the backside muscles of your body. But this is a piriformis and a gluteal release. So just feel your butt cheeks on whatever you're sitting on. Just get in touch with them and the way that the weight comes down through your hips. And with your right foot, you're going to push your right foot down into the floor until your right butt cheek engages and begins to lift away from the surface that you're on. So try that. Push your foot down and feel your hip engage and lift a little bit. And then very slowly release that pressure and allow the weight to come back down onto that hip gradually. And as much as you can, then relax your right hip. Yeah. And then if there was any discomfort on either side or even somewhere else in your body, do it less intensely, right? Push your right foot down. And as you push your right foot down, your right hip begins to lift and tighten, and your weight comes more firmly to your left side. And then slowly release the pressure of your foot pushing down and let your right hip land and soften and widen and relax. Yeah. And then try that one more time on your right side. Push your right foot down and tilt maybe your body a little bit to the left. Allow the weight to come to the left as your right hip engages. And then very, very slowly release the pressure of your foot and feel your right hip land and relax back onto the surface that you're sitting on, right? And now notice if there's a difference between your right butt cheek and your left butt cheek and the way that it sits on the chair. Is there a difference, Katie?
Yeah, it does feel different. And it also I notice like really wanting to do that with the other side now.
Oh, like the other side is like, me too, my
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it feels different. So just give me maybe a couple of words that you would describe the difference between your right and left hip.
It feels like more, well, like when I'm paying attention to like where I'm actually sitting on the seat, it feels a little bit more like flattened and wider a little bit.
Yeah, flattened and wider. So if you think about the musculature holding a contraction, it's kind of lifting you away from the surface. And when the musculature relaxes, then it's allowed to kind of plant, right, with the earth a bit more. So now try it on your left side. You're going to push your left foot down. And as you push your left foot down, your weight gets to go over to your right as your left hip begins to lift. And then slowly, slowly let that go, gradually letting your hip land. Yeah. And try that again, pushing down, tilting a little bit to the right as your left hip engages and comes away from the surface, and then gradually, slowly giving your weight back and letting your hip soften and land. Good. You can do that one more time here on your own if you like. You're just pushing your foot down, letting your body tilt over to your right side, and then slowly let that go. How does it feel now?
It feels good. Now, I mean, it's like what you said to Dennis. Now I'm noticing, you know, a pain in my lower back that I wasn't noticing before, but it
Yeah,
makes sense that, you know, when one thing releases, then the other things become more noticeable.
right, because our nervous system can only pay attention to so much at once, and we usually just attend to the loudest noise. But there's other contractions and other noises going on underneath of that, right? So then let's try going for another one of these arch and releases to finish as a group, right? And then we can do a self-sensing, right? So this may help with the tension you're noticing in your back. So feeling your hips on the chair, you're going to inhale and arch your back and rise yourself up a little bit. Maybe your shoulders want to draw back. Maybe your head wants to do something. Yes, very slowly, slowly let that go. Coming out of the arch, letting your head and your shoulders soften back out of that position. And rest. How did that feel, Katie?
That felt good.
Did that kind of address a little bit of that holding that you experienced?
Yeah, I mean, I still feel it, but it definitely feels better.
Good. Yes. Yes. So let's do it again. Inhale, arching, drawing your shoulders back. Maybe your head does something too. Slowly, slowly, slowly let that go. Take your time. Coming all the way out and relax. Yeah. And there's, of course, other muscles that we could work with. And that's why, when I do a session with someone, our first session, I like it to be like an hour to 90 minutes. So we can really take our time to follow all those little, oh, now I'm feeling discomfort here. Oh, now this part of my body is speaking to me. Because, like you noticed with your left hip, once you start relaxing your muscles, the other muscles in your body are like, oh my gosh, we don't have to hold on to this. We can relax. Oh, let's do that. And so there's sort of a following the discomfort around that goes on as your body is asking for more and more relaxation. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you. Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
Does this modality impact organs? Like if you're having an issue with a certain organ, how does that work?
Yes. So all of your systems are interconnected. And when your muscular system is wound very tightly, first of all, it's often related to an upregulated nervous system state. So you're in some level of stress or fight or flight, maybe a low level even, right? And that absolutely affects your organs and affects your microbiome and affects your digestion, right? In addition, when the musculature, especially of your abdomen and the middle of your body, yes, and your hormones, that's true. So when the muscles in the middle of your body are constricted and tight, right? It's putting a lot of pressure on your organs.
Mm.
They're literally being compressed, not in a good way. And it restricts normal functional breathing. So I explore this a lot because of the issue I had with my stomach. Our stomach is supposed to expand and then move in and expand and move in as we breathe. That's natural respiration. That's how children and dogs breathe, right? But when we get really tight through the middle of our bodies, we stop doing that. And then our diaphragm is every time we breathe, pushing down on the organs and not giving them that natural peristalsis, rhythmic movement that it's supposed to give them. Instead, we're pushing down on those organs and compressing them, and they don't have anywhere to go. And it's stressful. It'd be like if someone was pounding on your head all day long, asking you to do your job while you're getting, whacked on the head all day, right? So this work is holistic in the sense that it will affect all the other organ, muscle, bone systems are all interrelated. So it's going to affect everything, including the health of your organs and your immune system.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, peristalsis around contraction. I love your live tweeting here. I don't even know if we use that anymore because it's X now, which is still weird to me. But
Well, this has been spectacular. I really really enjoyed that. Sorry I wasn't on screen. The software I'm using allows me to actually tap into the Zoom speaker view. The sacrifice is this mug doesn't get on, which is fine with me.
Wonderful. Well, before we officially close, I'd love for everybody to just do a little self-sensing, including yourself. If you did some of these movements today, you're now going to be getting different feedback from your body than when we started. And then I'll be like kind of closing the somatic work that we've all done today. So then sitting here, and close your eyes again if you like. And if you can remember how it felt to be sitting here before, when you first were self-sensing, right? Feeling into your hips and the way that your hips rest to the chair. Noticing up the length of your spine, your waist, noticing any sensations in your hips or your lower back, feeling up into your shoulders, your neck, and that spot just right between your shoulder blades, that spot right at the base of your skull. What is the quality of this space now? If you can remember how it was before. And then take a breath in and just notice how it feels to breathe. Notice how much effort is required in breathing, and where is that effort taking place? And then along with your physical experience, notice the thoughts and the feelings that might be moving through you. Sense into your inner landscape, what it's like to be inside yourself at this moment. And how does that compare to when you first were sensing in at the beginning of our after party time today? Did anybody have a difference that they noticed?
I absolutely do. Yeah.
What did you notice?
Well, I'm a lot more comfortable sitting in this position. I've been sitting up for an hour and a half, and I had some lower back stuff and some tension in my shoulders. And they were very crunchy when we started doing this, and it's lubed up a little bit and just a little more easeful sitting here.
Yeah, more ease. That's not as much effort to just be sitting here. Your body's a little more at rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else noticed any changes or differences? Stephanie says she noticed a big difference.
And there's the dogs.
Wonderful. Well, I'll hand it back to you, David.
Hi, dogs. Okay, good. It's a good time for a delivery right at the end of our show. I wanted to say that if you guys would, so the after party, this is what it is. I put, as I mentioned before during the live stream, I post these behind a paywall on my site. You here, if you are uncomfortable with that or you don't agree with that, email me. I can cut your part out. I can edit it out if that's the case. And if you would like to have the recording of this, you don't have to go and sign up and pay to be on my site. I will give it to you because you're on the recording. So just email me at let's say david.knox@theevolutionary.life or anything at theevolutionary.life, and let me know that you would like it. I will send you the link. And of course, Aimee, I will give the link to you. You can do whatever you want with it, even though it's behind the paywall on my site. You can do whatever you would like with it on yours, or whatever you want to do on your socials. And also, that's it. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. And Aimee, I was wondering if maybe you could stick around for just a few minutes after everyone else jumps so we can have a little decompression. Yeah.
Totally.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. It was wonderful to see all your faces. And Dennis, we need to get together and hang out while we're in the same town-ish. Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
Nice to meet you, Dennis. And good to see you,
Likewise.
Stephanie. I'll
Yeah.
see you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Bye.
Bye.